Well, here we go. Chapter 6 of 52. If you know, you know. If you don't, feel free to ask me what that means. So, chapter 6, I just want to jump right in. This one's kind of a fun one. All of them are, to be honest with you. But this one is you hold the key. So, you hold the key in your experience in this life. Well, or even differently put, let's word this a different way. You hold the key in recognizing your own emotional ownership. You have the key to how you experience every day, every moment of your life. That's emotional ownership. That's emotional maturity. It's knowing where that key is and how to unlock it. Okay. And that's what I help my clients with. I give them it's almost like an escape room. I give them the clues to how to get out of the escape room. I believe that our escape room, this world that's full of a bunch of human-made concepts, is created in a way that has us believing a lot of things that aren't true. It's amazing in coaching sessions where I hear clients quote things, and they'll even say that quote multiple times, maybe in succession, or they'll say it multiple times throughout the session itself. And these beliefs, these quotes, these statements, these whatever paradigms are very limiting. Anyways, let's dive in. We often think that they ruined our day, right? A person, a place, a thing, a situation, a circumstance. It's in the language everywhere you go. It's in movies, it's in TV, it's in daily conversations, it's in the workforce. It's all over social media. It's really heavy in reality TV, but it's everywhere. And here's the reality is they didn't ruin your day. Your thinking did. What's good about that is some people take that as, oh, that's not true. You're basically saying that you're victim blaming. No, that's emotional ownership. It's taking ownership of your life. It's taking ownership of how you experience everything in every day of your life, right? We are given the gift of thought. When it's misused, when it's abused, let's look at it this way. It's a blessing and it's a curse. When it's used in a way that you experience this world how you want to experience, when you experience this life how you want to experience this life, meaning if travel is important to you, you travel. If having a family and building a family is important to you, it's doing those things. What you think, what you believe, what you create moment to moment to moment, what you think is what you believe, what you feel, that is the gateway to all your behaviors as well. So if you're thinking and believing that something outside of you has the power to make you feel happy or sad, telling you you're on an emotional roller coaster. You're living life outside in. You're living life in a way that when everything outside of you is a certain way, perfect, or in a way that is in a rhythm or a way that feels as it should be or how you want it to be, then you feel at peace, then you feel calm, then you feel happy. That is a recipe for mental, emotional, and physical agony and suffering. Emotional ownership, emotional responsibility, emotional maturity, emotional leadership is understanding deeply in your own life and your own experiences that you hold the key to how you want to feel. So if you want to feel at peace, you want to feel calm, you want to feel happy, is knowing that that is inside of you. It's inside out. It's taking ownership and responsibility and accountability to how you want to feel. Okay. And just and some of my new clients are like, oh, so that's possible to be happy 24/7. No. This life that you're living is meant to feel the full spectrum of all of the emotions, from grief to love. It's meant for you to feel the full rainbow. But what I teach my clients is how to move up the ladder to least neutral, knowing how to. I give you the key. I give you the clues to unlock that door, unlock that vault. Because when we believe that something outside of us has that key, we'll never find happiness. Because at the beginning of my own personal journey, I hit a wall. I actually shared this with my oldest daughter yesterday. So I don't even know if I've even shared this with you or if you've ever heard this from me. But, at the beginning of my self-development journey, I had everything: the money, the fame, the fashion, the clothes, the sports cars, the custom made home, I traveled around the world, all things. And my mind, behind closed doors, no one knew, not even the people in my house, but in my own head, I was really low. I felt incredibly low. So I had this thought, this brilliant thought, this idea, this insight. I'll make my body look perfect and then I'll be happy. That's the missing piece. Once that is in place, that is the key to my happiness. Without that, without my body looking perfect, I'm going to feel this low. I thought it was outside of me. So 18 months later, I won my first bodybuilding show. I would say 2 days I felt joy. And then I went even darker than where I was 18 months before. Because people come to me too, wanting to lose weight. And they think, oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to fit in a size 4 or 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever their jean size is that they're wanting. And then I'll be happy. No, I know for a fact that's not true. Unless you're doing the internal work, unless you're shifting how you think and believe about yourself viscerally, like I mean, deeply understanding that your emotions are within you, what you're thinking and believing in every single moment, and you have to believe it in such a way that it's your convictions, it's your values, it's your paradigm, it's part of who you are. That person, that overweight person to the skinny version of you is the same person. And it actually may be worse, because I've had clients that have gone on Ozempic and all the other injectables or peptides and so forth like that. And they lost a lot of weight. They lost a lot of muscle. They lost even bone mass. And now they have a lot of loose skin. They actually feel even worse because of that as well. But that's not really the issue. The issue is they deeply have a negative relationship to themselves and this life. You really will struggle in this world and in this life if your relationship to yourself in your life is of a low level. Okay, so in my book, I put a scale from 0 to 10, that relationship to yourself and what that means from 0 to 10 and how that conveys. Because it's really, if you don't love yourself, like if it's under a 5, if your love for yourself is under a 5 out of 10, it's very difficult to love someone at a 5 or lower. Right? They're very guarded. They're very suspicious. They're very, they lack self-confidence, self-love. They don't know how to regulate themselves or have a low level of emotional intelligence. It's another way to look at this too, and it sends the light bulbs on for some of my clients in their coaching sessions, is when they really have a hard time grasping what that means. Like, oh, I know I love myself, but yet I have all this guilt. I have all this shame. I have all this, and they're beating themselves up. That's a low level of love. You can't say I love myself and sit there and beat yourself up. and believe those thoughts in your head. That's a low level of self-love. You're not regulating yourself. You're not getting yourself above a 5 in how you think about yourself in this life. You can't beat yourself up to feeling happy. But one way that I describe it in coaching sessions is think of it as a dog or a cat or any kind of animal. You know, for dog, for instance, or any animal that's angry, scared, timid, shy, untrusting, weary, frightened, timid, terrified. Can you love that animal? It makes it hard to love that animal. When they're guarded, when they're protective, when they won't let you in. That's the same with humans. So another thing too in chapter 6 that I cover is about changing other people and believing that when someone you care about, or maybe even a boss or a manager or someone in your life, when you're wanting someone to change so you feel better, like I can't feel better until they change this, you're handing again the key over to the control of how you feel. So if you're believing that if they change, I will be happy, then you're handing the key over. And let's say they do change. One of the examples I put in chapter 6 is if they do change, then what happens, 2 things could happen. They change, then you're anticipating them to revert back. You're anticipating them to slide back. You're nervous, seeking evidence and proof that they are staying changed. Okay, so you're hypervigilant on that. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Or the next thing, which is, and maybe sometimes it's both. The next thing is now you're wanting something else to change. And I saw this, I know this is slightly different. This isn't in relationships, but it can be pretty much how you do one thing is how you do all things. So this is might land or this might not, but for me, and I know you can't see because I have a background, but this house my husband built, took him 7 years, his own blood, sweat, and tears. Interestingly enough, through that process, I caught myself saying and thinking, oh, I can't wait till this. I can't wait till that. I can't wait till this. So I was anticipating and I was eager and I was excited and I had urgency on each new level. Like I would get something done on the house, or he would get something, not me, he would get something done on the house. And then I was like, oh, I can't wait till the next thing. Like one part that I remember, a couple of parts. One, we had an engine puller in our kitchen for the longest time, months. Engine puller was in our kitchen. We had big vaulted ceilings and we had granite. And in order to get the granite in the house, we needed the engine puller. And anyways, it's big, it's ugly, smelly. I couldn't stand it. And to me, it was just kind of this funny thing. I was like, I can't wait till the engine puller is out. Well, I helped get that monstrosity out of this house because it was a big job. After all the rock was put into place. And then the next thing was, I can't wait until we get flooring. And then the next thing is, I can't wait until we can put furniture in the living room or whatever. I don't know. It was just like one thing after another after another. And just recently we put concrete out on the back patio. If you've ever built a house, it's a never ending journey. And it actually is fascinating in the fact that I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned to enjoy each phase. I've learned to enjoy the wait. I've learned to enjoy the milestones, right? Because just as you heard in my language, I can't wait until we get flooring, or I can't wait till the engine puller is gone. What ends up happening is when we get in this thought process of I can't wait till, we're again giving the key to our feelings to something in the future. We're not actually tapping into gratitude and appreciation for what we do have. We're in this I can't wait. It's almost like I'll be happy when. It's the exact same thing. So fascinating enough, through this process has taught me so much. I could go on for hours about it, to be honest with you. But when we hand over our key to our happiness to something that's outside of our control and wanting to bend reality, wanting things to be different now, and urgency or pressure, or wanting to bend things to meet our needs, we are in a way believing that our feelings are external. We are believing that our feelings are external. So the goal is shifting from this or that or them or they will make me feel happy, right? It's shifting away from that to shifting towards, I feel this way because of my thoughts. And softening that up, sitting with that, being like, oh, look at my humanness. Look at my brain, look at my thoughts, look at my mind, whatever it is that suits you, whatever language lands for you. It's different for everyone. For me, I named my inner thought dialogue. It's Bossy Pants, has a flavor of bossiness to it. And I like silly names because it adds a little bit of funness to it, adds a little humor to it, a little amusement. It lightens it up. Like, oh, Bossy Pants is super loud today. So that's one of the things that I do, but the biggest thing is noticing how your feelings of urgency or wanting things to be a certain way or wanting time to change or someone to change, something to change, that it's just a thought. And detaching from that thought in a way that's light, befriending that thought and seeing it for what it is. It's just a thought. Right? I have this pattern in my life of wanting things now. Could call it a lack of patience or urgency. I call it urgency for me when I say, oh, there's a feeling of urgency. What thought is fueling that urgency? And then when I do that, it helps me put a finger on it, go, oh, I'm wanting the flooring to be done, or I'm wanting the engine puller to get out of here, right? That's it. And valid. Every thought, every feeling is valid, right? It's an old pattern, an old blueprint brought into this current moment. And there's a choice in that. There's a choice for me to stay in that urgency or stay in that bossy pants thought process that's old and outdated. Or I have a choice to go, whoa, this feeling of urgency and pressure and wanting it now is really inhibiting me and stopping me from feeling gratitude for what I have. Today, I'm going to choose, or in this moment, I'm going to choose to feel grateful. In this moment, I'm going to choose to reflect on where we've come on this journey. So every feeling follows a thought, period, hard stop. Okay, the engine puller can't make me feel any sort of way. Lack of flooring can't make me feel any sort of way. A person's words can't make me feel any sort of way, or an event. Nothing can inject feelings into me. It's my mind, it's my perception, it's my judgment, it's my thoughts, it's my stories, it's my rules, it's Bossy Pants. So I wrote down some examples because you'll hear me say over and over again, no person, place, thing, situation, or circumstance can make you feel any sort of way. So I wanted to kind of give some examples because it can be logically agreed upon. Oh yeah, Catherine, I agree. Yeah, that makes sense. Unless you actually have examples and can find that in your life as I say these out loud, and then throughout the rest of your day, as you travel throughout the rest of your day, find more proof and evidence. This just stays in the logical brain. This just stays as logic and doesn't benefit you in any way. When we move things from logic to experiential, we learn when we apply and experience it live in the moment in our own lives. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we adapt. That's how we create a new pattern, a new loop, a new habit, a new thought, a new experience, a new feeling. That's what I point my clients to. Okay. So as a person, let's say your best friend, maybe your partner, your spouse, significant other, parent, maybe adult parent, hopefully an adult parent, maybe a parent, or maybe even adult child. I don't know, anybody. Let's just say someone forgets to text you back. Right? I talked about this, I think, on the last video. Is maybe they left you unread. Again, I don't even, the other day I thought about that after I did that video. I'm like, I don't pay attention to read. I have an iPhone. I guess I just don't even, I know I've seen delivered before and I don't even know what that means. And I'm good with that. But anyways, let's say someone doesn't text you back. That's important to you. No reply, right? For hours, maybe a day. Pretty natural and pretty human for the brain to go, oh, they must have lost interest or losing interest in me, or they don't care about me. I'm not important to them. Any of that sound familiar? What that does is those thoughts create a feeling of anxiety, maybe worry or insecurity or less than or not good enough, right? And that might be poking on a trigger of yours, right? And what are triggers? They're triggers. Triggers are for you to heal, not for other people to heal. Triggers are what to lean into. Triggers are what you want coaching on. Triggers are what you want therapy on, whatever your modality is that you find that works for you. So the thought is they're losing interest. They don't like me. They don't love me, whatever. It creates a negative feeling in your body. You feel that through your nervous system. Then you find out maybe the next day they lost their phone cord or their dog. Oh, I have a puppy. So puppy chewed on the phone cord and the phone died. So knowing later that day or that next day, you find out this added information to the story. The event really didn't change, right? They didn't text you back for hours or a day. Now with the new information that the puppy chewed on the charging cord, you have a new thought, a new story, right? The images in your mind change. That movie that was playing, that they don't like you, they don't love you, they're mad at you, you're not good enough, all that story plot changes, right? New story. You see in your mind the puppy chewing on the phone cord. The anxiety, insecurity, the sadness, the feeling less than vanishes. You now feel like it makes sense. Maybe a little bit of embarrassment, maybe a little bit of, oh, look at how my brain created an illusion that wasn't real, right? Again, it's our imagination being used against ourselves. It's using the gift of thought as a curse. It's overusing our imagination in a way that's creating heartache, pain, suffering, misery. All right, so a place. All right, so we did a person. Now we're going to do a place. So you walk into a crowded gym. First day at a new gym and it's crowded. Maybe when you got your gym membership, you went at an off time, it was quiet, whatever. You got a gym membership and now it's a busy, loud gym. So the music is playing, lots of people all over the place. And then all of a sudden you make eye contact with a couple of people and then the thought pops into your head, everyone's watching me. Everyone's looking at me. What are my pants inside out? I've done that before. Are they watching me? Are they judging me? Are they, so at the beginning of my gym journey, I would go to classes only. And I would get there really early and get a mat and I would put it in the very back of the class, be the first one in the back because I wanted to be in the back. I wanted to hide. So if you know, you know. I think that's kind of everybody's first, maybe not everybody, but I think a lot of people have a similar experience. I wouldn't go to the weight room unless somebody was with me, my trainer or my husband or someone I knew and trusted. Anyways, so everyone's watching me, I think, is pretty human, pretty normal, pretty natural when you first join a gym. When you have that thought that everyone's watching me or judging me or looking at me, My pants are on backwards. What is the feeling that follows? Embarrassment, tension, anxiety, worry, stress, scared. It kind of is, I don't know why middle school comes to mind. I think middle school just says it all, right? Now, you can have a thought immediately afterwards, or maybe even someone at the counter is so gracious that they notice that this is your first time and they want to have you feel warm and welcome. Maybe they say something of, hey, Catherine, I just want you to know today's really busy. Today's our anniversary, so it is a little more crowded than usual. And just so you know, everyone is super focused on themselves. Hopefully, if you believe that statement that's being said and you latch onto it, you connect to it, you can have the feeling of, oh, suddenly you feel relaxed and calm. It makes sense why there's so many people in the gym. It makes sense that you're someone new and people are just like, oh, somebody else just walked in, right? Just grab their attention. It's the same gym, same time, same experience. You're now experiencing that moment totally differently. And I will tell you, as a gym goer, no one is paying attention to you. There's only a few situations that really stand out in my mind. And if you know me really well, you probably know what I'm talking about. No lie, I've experienced someone on my vehicle naked doing nasty things. Had to call the police, everything. I got it on camera even, the end of it. But yeah, I've experienced a lot of things. And I guess that was outside of the gym, so does that count? But as far as in the gym, I've only had a few memories that really rise to the top, and it was situations where people got hurt, pretty severe things. Aside from that, people are really not paying attention to you. Not in a bad way, not in a mean way, but everybody's in their zone, right? Not everyone. There are people in there that are on their pre-workout and just focused in on their training and mind muscle connection. All right, so back to what we're working on. So person, place, thing. Money is one that usually comes to the surface on this one, but many other things can as well. Like, for me, well, let's just go into the money. For instance, let's say you look at your bank statement. That could be a thing, right? So you look at your bank statement and you see a number on the screen. No need to even say what that number is, but you see a number on the screen and you have a thought. I will never get ahead. Right? Then what is the feeling that would follow? I will never get ahead. You would feel defeated. You'd feel shame. You would feel less than. You would feel low. You would feel behind. Right? So we have a thought, then we have a feeling. If you change that thought, though, in the moment, like see that you have a choice in believing the first thought or letting that sit and go, well, what other choices do I have? What other thoughts might serve me? And one could be, this number shows me where I am. It doesn't show who I am or define me, right? It's kind of a mouthful. What could happen if you believe something like that? Well, the emotion will shift to maybe motivation, maybe clarity. Maybe it's about asking for a raise. Maybe it's asking or starting to look for a new job or new career or a lateral movement. Sometimes that number can be a milestone in moving forward. What is this number teaching you? What is it showing you? We can have a habit of looking at everything in a negative light, and certainly everything is going to feel heavy. Or we can look at a number on a bank statement and go, this is a new start. This is a new beginning. All there is up from here. I've been in that place. And I skyrocketed. So it's possible. We are all capable of it. All right, so a situation. Let's go through a situation. Let's say you're stuck in traffic. A pretty common one that I use in coaching because I think that we all can relate to it. I have had a few young clients that didn't have their driver's license, and I was like, "Wait a minute, do you have a driver's license?" And then got the feedback, "Well, no." And so I was like, "Well, I mean, I think you can probably hang with me on that story, but I'm going to shift it to something else that might be more relatable." But let's use the traffic one for a situation. All right, so you're stuck in traffic, cars are not moving, you're in a traffic jam, which here in Spokane would be anywhere from 4 to 6:30. I am very intentional in not traveling anywhere near Spokane during those hours. If you know, you know. So the thought could rise quite easily because as human beings, we have lots of thoughts. We can't control our thoughts. Right? A lot of times new clients will go, "Oh, I want to control my thoughts." Oh, we can't. So let's not even go there. Actually, in my book, I cover what that means in quite depth and put an exercise in there that points to what I mean by that and how we can't control our thoughts. Now, what we can do is we can command our thoughts, we can shift our thoughts, we can adapt our thoughts to how we want to think, how we want to feel. Yes, absolutely. Can we control them? No. In fact, all thoughts, like triggering thoughts, I'll tell my clients, I do have the key and I know how to soften those thoughts to where they don't grip you so much. I know how to make them quieter and have them have less sting or less power over you. Will those thoughts ever go away? Probably not. And why I say that is I want them, and I usually do follow up with this, is I want clients to anticipate those thoughts coming back. Because then you're more aware of it. You're will notice it right away and you'll go, "Oh, dear friend, I haven't seen you in a long time." And then you have more choice and more power as a result of that. But if we think and we believe that, "Oh, I can get rid of this negative thinking, I won't ever have negative thinking again," right there, you're on the wrong track. That's not possible. Unless we do a lobotomy, which I don't even know if that can be done. But if you're in traffic and you're thinking, "I'm wasting my life in this line, right? This is miserable. This is painful. This feels horrible. I don't like this." What ends up happening? You start feeling frustrated, feeling angry, feeling rage, feeling powerless, feeling stuck, right? So a thought, then a feeling. Okay. So the event, thought, feeling. Okay. If you're able to shift your thoughts in the moment, which again, I show my clients how to do that, it's being able to create a pause, being able to have the awareness and the acknowledgement that you had a thought that had you feel a certain way and going, "Ooh, I don't like feeling frustrated. I don't like feeling angry. So how do I want to feel? I want to feel calm. I want to feel patient. I want to feel present." This is a great opportunity for me to practice my skills. Okay. All right. So a circumstance. This one is unfortunately been really common over the last, I don't know, I would say it's probably 6 months, maybe a year, is losing a job or getting laid off, or maybe even demoted, right? So let's just say job loss is the circumstance. Some of you might argue till the moon goes down or the sun goes down, both, that having a job loss can create a feeling. It can, if you think that and if you believe that. I have worked with clients that have had major changes in their career or their job, right? Lose the job for a variety of different reasons. And actually, now that I think about it, the last one that I helped with, he wanted help with navigating it, number one, and also recreating his identity. He had been so attached to the identity of that job title that he really didn't know who he was anymore. So that one case that I'm thinking of right now, I don't even know why I lost a job. I don't need to know. That's not my business. That was not my job. As a coach, it was to help him move forward powerfully. It was to help him create a new identity, to reacquaint himself, to develop his skills and strengths and identity and values and morals and principles and what was meaningful and fulfilling for him. So that's what we worked on. So I don't even know why. And it's none of my business. Not what I need to know because it's in the past, right? The past is not here. It's not real. It's sure it happened and that's terrible. But what's fun about like this one that I'm thinking of is the life that he created. Certainly I was just an observer and rode in the back seat and helped him with the GPS coordinates to create that life, but he took the actions and he created a life that he always dreamed of. So the job was actually, the career path that he was on was miserable. So anyways, when he initially came to me, certainly I think he was really down in the dumps about it, but we shifted it from feeling of shame and guilt and what ifs and blame and complain. Like I think he went through all the emotions, and a lot of them he'd kind of gone through before he met me. But when we think that losing a job is failure, sure, it can feel even heavier than seeing it as an opportunity to pivot. So it could be, losing a job or getting demoted or passed over or whatever. It can be really heavy, or it could be an opportunity to create a life and an identity that's a better alignment with you. So it's a redirect, right? It's choosing how you want to feel, pointing your mind and your thoughts towards what it is that you want more of. It's better alignment, right? It's creating a thought habit and loop that generates opportunity, creativeness, innovation, what's next. And this person got very creative and very innovative. I know what the job was before, the career path, and it was very rigid, kind of like a corporate world situation. And then what he's doing now is very free spirited and fascinating. Like there's so much travel and learning, and it's admirable. Not a life that I could live at this stage of my life, but it was it's really cool. And I talk to him every once in a while and catch up with him. So anyways, anything's possible. All right, so I covered a person, place, thing, and situation and circumstance. I've always wanted to do that on one of these videos, so I'm glad that I did. Anyways, if you're still with me, let's keep going on. All right, so you can't be triggered by what someone does or even what they say, right? The example that I use frequently is, I don't like your purple hair, right? If somebody said that to me, first off, my hair's not purple. So in my head, I would go, wow, what's going on here, right? So I'm so confident in myself and that my hair is not purple. I would instantly go, are you okay? Sit down. Did you need some water? When's the last time you ate? Let's check your blood pressure. Let's check your blood sugar. But let's say I did have purple hair. I would take that as feedback, right? That's your opinion. Thank you for that. What color would you like to see my hair? Would you like it to be a natural color? Maybe brown, maybe black. What color would you like to see my hair? And I think people get caught off guard when we do that for the fact that I think they're wanting a rise out of us or something. I had feedback a little over about a week ago on LinkedIn on one of my posts, and I just kept engaging with this person and deeply curious, truthfully, where that feedback was coming from. But I also took it as an opportunity that it skyrocketed my impressions and my views. So that's how social media works, right? But when we believe our emotions are outside of us, right? That we believe that we need to be respected, we believe that we need to be validated, we need to be liked by other people, that we identify by approval of others, we're outside in, right? We're believing our emotions are outside of us. So whenever someone is easily rocked by feedback or criticism, that tells me that they believe their emotions are outside in, which is not true. They're inside out. So when you have high self-confidence, high emotional intelligence, so emotional intelligence is really about being able to self-regulate, right? Knowing where your emotions come from, being able to maintain at minimum a neutral feeling or sensation or enjoyment of life, and being able to pop up if you drop below the baseline of neutrality. But also emotional intelligence is being able to seek to understand someone else's emotions or experience or their reality without deeming them right or wrong, right? Being able to ask curious questions, say, well, give me feedback. Tell me, what your come from is. Where are you getting this information? Or what has you saying you don't like my purple hair, with deep curiosity, not looking to change your thoughts or your opinions or judgments, but it's just being curious, right? So whenever someone is rocked so easily by the words or actions of other people, they're very lost. They're outside in. And that's a lot of the work I do with clients one-on-one is recalibrating, moving them to understanding where their emotions come from. Now, society and culture are going to confuse everything I teach. And I'll cover that here in just a minute. But ownership of your emotions is not detaching from your emotions. It's not toxic positivity. It's detaching from the identity or the belief that life is happening to me, right? I have bad luck, or everyone's out to get me, or my life is horrible, or all that stuff, right? Back to that relationship to yourself and your life. If you're insecure, if you're fearful, if you're worried, if you're anxious, that's a poor relationship to yourself and life. So it's not detaching, it is actually attaching to how you want to feel. It's commanding your brain to work for you. It's training your brain to work for you in the direction of how you want to feel, right? It's taking emotional ownership. So again, event, thought, feeling, reaction. Event, thought, feeling, action. I always call it think, feel, and act to make it just even shorter and simpler. I love teaching my clients from a third grade level because it's easy to consume, it's easy to apply, it's easy to implement. Because if you're just consuming information, again, I said this at the beginning, you're not changing, right? You're just using what you learned from me as tissue, right? Blowing your nose and then throwing it away, and the next tissue and the next tissue. And you're just going from thing to thing to thing, gathering more information without applying it or implementing it in your life, and you won't change. You're going to stay the same. Okay. So let's say someone you care about that you live with, maybe a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, forgets an errand. We can have a blaming, complaining type thought. They don't respect me. They don't listen to me. How dare they? This always happens. What ends up happening is when we have those thoughts and we attach to that line of thinking, the blaming, the complaining, the finger pointing, what that ends up creating is resentment. It's a tally score on the sheet of resentment, which is harmful to the bank account of goodwill. Those of you that have worked with me know what the bank account of goodwill is. What it does is it creates a disconnection, in other words, separation. Where if we move to emotional ownership, emotional responsibility, we would hear that thought, they disrespect me, or they don't respect me, and go, yeah, that's true, or it used to be true. I used to believe that. I used to think that, and that was really heavy. And that used to really create a breakdown in my relationship. So instead, I'm going to take ownership of this moment, and I'm going to change to how I want to feel. Okay. So how I want to feel is I want to feel connected. I want to feel as though we're on the same team. I want to feel like we're in a partnership. So I will validate my initial thought. Yeah, I'm disappointed, right? They didn't do the errand. Disappointment. I feel disappointed. Not they made me feel disappointed. Okay. Huge difference. Huge difference. I feel disappointed, right? I had an expectation. Let's be real. Expectations lead to disappointment, resentment, and disconnection. But I feel disappointed, right? So that's ownership. Next, here's how we handle that in a vocal sense. I'm going to communicate more clearly, more calmly, that I was hoping that this errand was going to get taken care of today. What likely will happen is, again, you have to have a solid bank account of goodwill. If you have a low bank account of goodwill, they could even take your partner, your person that you're in a relationship with, could perceive that as a dig or a critique or a judgment or criticism. So again, bank account of goodwill is very important to keep that very healthy. But when you communicate from an energy of calm and patience and connection and state things in, I feel disappointed. I thought I expressed how important it was to get this errand done today. How can we get this completed within the next week or whatever? Hopefully that opens up the line of communication versus you made me feel disappointed. What this does is this teaches us ourselves as an emotional leader to pause and take ownership of our feelings. The event didn't do it to us. Our partner didn't do it. The person that we care about and love did not make us feel this. We've interpreted it this way. We had expectations. That's where leadership lies. That's where we take ownership and responsibility for how we want to feel. So instead of they make me feel disappointed, it's really about saying out loud, even in a healthy bank account of goodwill relationship, I feel this way because I thought whatever, the errand was going to get taken care of, right? I had deep, this was important to me. I feel this way because I thought. So some clients will come to me and say, they push my buttons, they trigger me, they upset me. Well, those are your buttons to work on. Okay, they're not making you feel that. You don't have a button literally on you or in you. That's not how it works. Our feelings are internal. It's the stories and thoughts and interpretations and judgments that we create. It's rules, right? If we have a rule that if I tell you to do something, you do it, you follow through, well, no wonder why you're living in a relationship that you're disappointed frequently. Your rules and demands and dictation is very high. If you're believing that your partner or someone you care about ruins your mood or ruins your day, well, again, you're giving them the ownership to how you feel. You are the puppet and they are your master. You are the victim and they are your villain. Your words are shaping your perception in that relationship. So choose your words wisely. Choose what words, what sayings, what paradigms, what quotes, what stories you're wedded to. Remember at the beginning how I talked about people will use all kinds of quotes and sayings to reinforce and demand that their life is the way it is because of them. In chapter 6, I cover the spilled coffee principle, and there's many different variations of this. What I point to is the spilled coffee reveals what's already in you. Okay, so if, for instance, you spill coffee on yourself, maybe the barista brings you your coffee cup and somehow the exchange happened in a way the lid pops off and the coffee spills on you. Are you overreacting to this situation? Because it's not about the coffee. It's not about the barista. It's not about the hotness of the coffee. It's what spills out inside of you, what's already been brewing. Are you able to forgive? Are you able to see the situation for what it is? Coffee spilled on you. right? No other emotion, no blame, no complaining. It's being able to remain sturdy, steady, confident, self-assured, self-confident. And are you able to wear that stain on your shirt, your favorite shirt, for the rest of the day and be able to navigate the whole day feeling confident? Meaning people point it out, go, hey, do you know that there's something on your shirt? Hey, what happened? What'd you do? Did you have a hole in your lip this morning when you're drinking your coffee? Are you able to take the jabs that happen throughout the day as a result of that stain, and remain confident? Or do you dip into embarrassment, ashamed, apologetic, sorry, I got coffee, oh my gosh, and feel smaller and shrink? So little bumps in life, traffic, no one texting you, the spill of the coffee, do these things knock you off your game? Do they drop your mood? Do they affect how you feel? Really, these small things really show what's your inner state. It shows your state of mind. It shows how resilient you are. It shows how emotionally intelligent you are. So every spill, every stain, every non-text, every bit of traffic, all these different things really show what's going on internally inside of you, your relationship to yourself and your life. They reveal what's driving you, what's driving your emotions. Are you blaming, complaining, finger pointing? Likely, if you're able to adapt and be agile and roll with the punches, your life is going to feel lighter. It'll free up a ton of energy. But if that stain on your shirt has you feeling embarrassed and ashamed all day long, these are things to work on in coaching. These are the things to move towards and work on in a way that you become so self-confident, so self-trusting and self-regulating that you would actually probably want to have a stain on your shirt every day and have purple hair. Okay, so shame is really buying into I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, I'm not good enough, I am ashamed, I'm guilty, I'm whatever. And that's old. That's old, it's outdated, it's a pattern, it's a conditioned belief. But when you are accountable, self-assured, and you have high emotional intelligence and emotional leadership, you lean into those things that trigger you or upset you or take you off your game and want to fix it, want to understand it, want to overcome it. And only way to do those things is to inoculate yourself, to experience more of it. It's like building a muscle. It takes going into discomfort to build a muscle. Same with your brain, to rewire it, to reprogram it, to think and believe differently takes doing the hard stuff. It takes doing things that are unfamiliar, that are new, that are probably going to be wobbly, clunky, messy. It takes, that's the only way we grow. That's how we develop skills and develop the muscle memory to be able to use those skills without thinking about it, to be on autopilot. Okay, so the skill of being self-confident, self-resilient, self-reliant, all these things, they're hyphenated self for a reason, because it is internal work. So I wanted to, one other thing in chapter 6, I want to cover, see how much are we doing on time? Oh, we are getting up to an hour. Okay. One other thing for sure I want to cover, if not maybe one more after that. In chapter 6, I talk about the search engine of the mind. And the metaphor of the search engine of the mind is leaning towards your mind as like a Google search bar, right? I think a lot of people now are using AI or Chat GPT or whatever, but I think I'm pretty sure I used Google search in this, which is fine. But our brain, our mind, two totally different things, to be honest with you. Our mind is like a Google search bar. What you search for, what you plug into the search bar, what you think about, what you ruminate about, what you overthink about, what you focus in on, what you um, explore, what you Google, in fact, or what you chat GPT, or what you study, what you research, what algorithms are in your Instagram or TikToks or Facebook or whatever your social media of choice is, if you have one, is what's going on in your brain. And what you search for, you'll find more evidence and proof of, which is confirming your beliefs. So let's say you plug into Google search, is wine good for me? I have not done this, so I don't know what would pop up, but I'm going to assume that there's going to be scientific proof that wine is good for you. I believe there's also going to be in the search scientific proof that wine is not good for you. It's going to show you proof and data and context and evidence that it's not and it is, right? So our mind is the same way. Whatever we search for, we're going to find more of. We're going to look for more evidence of that. And one of the reasons why I bring this up is not only on the internal work, like if you're believing that I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to be successful, I'm never going to find love, I'm not growing, I'm miserable, I'm never going to be promoted. If you're believing that, that's what you're putting in your Google search in your brain. Also, and another way to look at it too is if you're looking at your boss and you're Googling, my boss is a micromanager, well, guess what? You're going to find proof and evidence that your boss is a micromanager. If you're putting in your search engine, is my husband or my wife a narcissist? You're going to find proof and evidence of that. Well, your mind is doing that constantly. So whatever you focus in on, it's going to gather more proof and evidence of that constantly. So whatever you're putting your attention on, whatever you're focused in on, is what you're typing in the search bar. So be careful what you're putting attention on. Be careful what you're putting in your algorithm. Be careful. Because truthfully, a deep, connected, intimate relationship with anyone, and I mean intimacy in a rich, meaningful way, is focusing on what you admire, appreciate, and adore in this person, right? If it's a boss, maybe it's their strengths. What do I admire in their strengths, their skills, their talents? What can they teach me? What are they showing me? How can I learn from this person? Someone that you live with, what do they understand in life? What are their life experiences? What are their passions? What are they most interested in? What's important to them? Let them teach you. Teach me. Even literally tell them, teach me. Show me what you know. What are your passions? What are your skills? What are your talents? We all have a unique life full of experiences that we can share with other people. So when you focus in on what you admire, appreciate, and adore in anything, that could be a person, a place, a thing, an animal. Like, got a brand new puppy. He's 3 months old now. He's teaching me so much. I love it. It's fascinating. He's so animated, and he's teaching me to be more playful and more patient. And I love the Pavlov's dog. I think I actually have that in this chapter too. Example, and it's like, I think about it too, when he scratches at the door to come back in. I'm like, if I open up the door every time he does that, or even just a couple of times, he's going to get the message. If I scratch at the door opens. So gotta be careful. Like, there's just so much to learn about human behavior and a puppy. And that's why I mentioned the whole dog thing. I think that people choose certain breeds of dogs, or choose to get them when they're a puppy, even no matter what kind of breed, and raise them in a certain way, so that way you know, that dog has the depth to be a family dog or whatever, I mean, obviously genes have a huge role, but not always, right? I think you know what I'm pointing to here without being defining a line or anything. I love all animals. Um, but anyways, back to what I was saying. If you're plugging into your own Google search bar in your mind that I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that, well, that's an identity, number one, because you're saying I am. But number two, you're going to find more evidence and proof of that. Where if you put in your search engine that I am growing, I'm learning, I'm focused on what I value, I am going to figure out what's fulfilling and meaningful in my life. I am aiming to be inspiring. I want to share my skills. I want to serve. I want to be of value. I want to be inspiring. I want to teach people what skills and knowledge I have. I want to pass this information on because it took me decades to learn this, that I want to teach it in a way that people can learn it in an hour, whatever. I don't know. It's figuring out what you put your attention on. So if you put your attention on the past, or if you put your attention on the future, you're not in the present. You're not able to be here in the moment and enjoy what's here and now. Have appreciation and gratitude. It's not possible. We can't be in the past, can't be in the future, and be present all at the same time. Like, it's not possible. So be very conscious and aware of what you're focusing on, what you're putting your attention on. I wanted to see if there's anything else. I think the biggest message for chapter 6, is to stop outsourcing your peace. If you're waiting for an apology, if you're waiting for a text, you're waiting for a perfect circumstance to feel a certain way, joy, happiness, whatever, it's creating a lot of resistance in your life. It's creating a lot of misery. Outsourcing your peace is like, back to the key at the beginning, it's like keeping your front door open, right? With a key in it. You're showing others also how to treat you as well. When you're emotionally immature, when you're emotionally, you're on a roller coaster. When you're on an emotional roller coaster, it's tough to have deep relationships with people as well. I know that more and more, at least in the space that I'm at or in, with a lot of people that are in self-development, they're really looking for friends and people to connect with that are deepening their emotional intelligence levels. I think there's an infinite number of levels, and it's hard to connect with people that are believing that their emotions are outside of them, right? Because those are the type of people that are, again, commiserating, wanting other people to validate, oh, my feelings are outside of myself. People are making me mad, and traffic's making me mad, and life is terrible, and my parents are to blame for my childhood, is to blame for the way I am, and my ex-wife or my ex-husband is the reason why I am the way I am, whatever. It's really hard to connect with people that are blaming and complaining or talking about other people or creating a lot of drama. It's incredibly difficult to connect with people like that. And in fact, I think that a lot of people are avoiding that, right? Because what are you saying about me when I'm not around? uh, One of the last things I think I'll end this with, because I have a lot more notes, as always, I appreciate you for watching it this far, is really understanding what it is that you can control. I think that I talked about that a little bit earlier, is understanding what you can control, and it's very little. I think that you can, in a way, control your behaviors. Can't control your thoughts, can't control your feelings, but you can slow down and choose how you want to behave. Okay. Focus in on what you have now, being more present. Because if you're focusing in on what you don't have, like, I can't wait to get flooring, or I can't wait until this next level, or I can't wait till my body looks a certain way, or I can't wait till I get a raise. Again, you're not living in the moment. You're not able to tap into gratitude and appreciation. You're living in the past, the future, and what I don't have. And that creates so much misery. Life feels heavy. Life feels out of control. And a lot of people feel stuck because they're not slowing down and feeling how they want to feel in the moment. Okay. Again, I'm so excited. Like when I see all my notes, I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have talked about this and that and everything. Well, I'm going to stop right there for the fact that I've been at an hour and I know that attention spans are really about that. I look at that when I look at meetings. I'm like, how long is this meeting going to be? 2 hours? Oh, I don't, that's a long time. So hopefully you got some great value out of this video. And if nothing else, reach out to me with further questions. If we haven't met, please do reach out. I'd love to meet you, hear about your life story. What is it that is confusing about what I've said? Feel free to share what your own experiences and your own stories are. I'd love to hear from you. Anyways, see you again on chapter 7.